Beyond the Gates, spoilers tease that a beautiful evening between Bill and Haley will turn into a nightmare, altering Fairmont Crest forever. Under a canopy of twinkling lights at Dragonfly's courtyard, Bill Morty and Haley Corinthos share a candlelit dinner, seared salmon for her, lamb chops for him, laughing about art exhibits and their ever-busy lives. Bill, philanthropist and foundation leader, beams as he toasts Haley to us. Haley, radiant in a navy silk dress, rests her hand on his, gratitude shining in her eyes. But just as their plates arrive, Bill's fork clatters onto his plate. His face drains of color, and he collapses forward, head landing gently in Haley's lap. Panic seizes Haley. "Bill," she cries, cradling his head and pressing her hand to his chest. Finding no pulse, she fumbles for her phone, fingers trembling. "Please," she sobs into the phone, "send help, my husband collapsed." We're at Dragonfly on Oakwood Place. Within minutes, paramedics burst in, stabilizing Bill on a gurney as Haley fights to stay by his side. "I'm coming with him," she insists, bursting into tears. A paramedic, recognizing her desperation, helps her into the ambulance as they sprint to St. Mary's Hospital, sirens wailing through the quiet streets. In the ER, Bill is whisked into a trauma bay. Dr. Marisol Alvarez, head of cardiology, arrives with grim efficiency. He's in ventricular fibrillation. "We're performing advanced life support now," she announces. Haley steps back as medical staff surround Bill, intubating, attaching defibrillator pads, administering epinephrine. Monitors beep erratically. Haley, voice cracking, whispers prayers as Bill convulses under the paddles. After tense minutes, one final shock restores a faint rhythm. "He's stabilized for now," Dr. Alvarez tells Haley. Haley's relief is bittersweet. "Will he make it?" she asks. "He's alive, but critical," the doctor replies. "We need to monitor him overnight." Haley spends the long hours in a narrow chair beside Bill's bed, insomnia and dread pairing in her mind. Bill, pale and unconscious, rests on a ventilator, his strong body now fragile. Dawn's first light reveals Dr. Alvarez returning with test results. Bill's heart shows underlying cardiomyopathy and a leaky mitral valve. "We suspect genetic myocarditis," she explains. "We must run a cardiac MRI and consider valve repair." But his kidneys are compromised, and he's too weak for surgery. Haley's tears fall as the doctor advises rest and 4 fluids. Haley grips Bill's hand. "I won't leave you," she promises. Just as Bill's condition seems to stabilize, another wave of crisis looms. That afternoon, Doug McBride bursts into Bill's room, eyes wild. He's the former hospital administrator who embezzled foundation funds to cover gambling debts. Today, he has more to confess. Bill's gaze flickers open, recognition and confusion mingling. "Doug," he rasps. Doug shuffles forward, dread in his voice. "Bill, I took money from the foundation. Vanessa, my wife, she used some of it to pay Joey Armstrong." "I'm so sorry." Bill's face stiffens with betrayal. "You stole from our mission, from me," he murmurs. As Doug attempts to explain, a nurse glances at Bill's monitors, his heart rate spikes. Within seconds, alarms blare. Bill's heartbeat races into dangerous arrhythmia. Dr. Alvarez bursts in. "We need a defibrillator. Stat," she commands. Paddles snap onto Bill's chest. Haley screams as another shock jolts Bill's body. The monitor flatlines before a faint rhythm returns, but the effort has taken a heavy toll. Doug collapses to his knees, horror etched across his face. That night, Bill hovers between life and death. Sedated and intubated, he clings to the slender thread that separates him from the beyond. Haley remains by his side, alternating between exhausted tears and whispered prayers. Nurses rotate shifts, every beep a reminder that Bill is fighting for each breath. Just before midnight, Dr. Alvarez appears again, her expression more severe. "Bill's kidneys have failed," she announces quietly. We must begin dialysis now, but his heart won't tolerate it. Haley's voice catches. Is there no other way? The doctor shakes her head. His best chance was earlier. We can't support his organs any longer. Bill's chest heaves as dialysis begins, tubes snake into his veins. The machines whir. Minutes later, his body convulses from the procedure. The defibrillator charges once more. Haley's sobs fill the room as another shock crashes over Bill's limp form. His heartbeat flatlines, unstoppable. Dr. Alvarez steps aside, eyes glistening. I'm sorry, she murmurs. Haley collapses onto Bill's chest, weeping, her world fracturing. Bill Morty has died. News of Bill's passing spreads through Fairmont Crest like wildfire. Beloved philanthropist Bill Morty dies after heart complications blares across local news, social media alight with condolences. A vigil is announced at St. Mary's courtyard the next evening. Hundreds gather, colleagues, friends, and every face Bill ever helped. Candles flicker under a warm summer sky, and Bill's photograph, him holding a child's hand at a foundation event, sits on an easel. Haley, clad in black, stands at a podium, voice quaking. Bill was my anchor, she says, tears falling. He believed in hope even when all seemed lost. We will honor his legacy by carrying forward his work. The crowd erupts in applause mixed with tears, mourning a man who never asked for credit, only to serve quietly. At the Richardson Morty Foundation's headquarters, the board convenes an emergency meeting. Bill's leadership was the backbone of every initiative, scholarships, community clinics, mentorship programs. With him gone, the foundation's future hangs in the balance. Haley addresses the trustees via video link from the hospital's chapel. Bill trusted me to continue his work. We will not let you or him down. I propose emergency funding from our reserve, a temporary pause on new grants, and a transparent audit to reassure donors. The trustees, somber but determined, approve her plan. Over the following weeks, Haley, appointed interim CEO, crisscrosses town halls, schools, and clinics. She fights exhaustion to reassure donors, volunteers, and beneficiaries that Bill's vision endures. Gradually, major donors pledge continued support, moved by her unwavering devotion. Meanwhile, Doug McBride's confession sets legal wheels in motion. He's indicted for embezzlement, and Vanessa McBride, implicated by Doug's ledger, faces separate bankruptcy and potential fraud charges. Rumors swirl. Vanessa fled town to escape arrest. Joey Armstrong's name surfaces in shady gambling rings. In a brief hearing, Doug pleads guilty, tears streaming. He's sentenced to community service and restitution payments, a lenient outcome due to his guilty plea. Vanessa, now destitute, remains a fugitive. Joey's disappearance is rumored. Whispers claim he's entered witness protection. Leslie Thomas, the manipulative figure whose actions catalyzed portions of Bill and Haley's trials, is also in court, facing new charges of escape and money laundering uncovered during Bill's hospitalization. His bail is revoked, and while awaiting trial, he's confined in maximum security. His attempts to bribe guards and forge documents come to light, sealing his fate. At his hearing, he glares defiantly as the judge sentences him to 25 years, remarking, "Your schemes have destroyed lives. You will now serve time for your misdeeds." Leslie's empire of influence crumbles under the weight of evidence, but Bill's death looms larger in public memory. Amid these upheavals, Haley stumbles through Bill's belongings, letters of gratitude from scholarship recipients, photographs of foundation children, Bill's journal notes about future projects. Each artifact is a dagger and a treasure, reminding her of the man she lost. Late one night, she discovers a letter Bill wrote but never mailed. "My dearest Haley, if my time ends before I find peace, know that loving you is worth every heartbeat. The foundation will endure because it is built on love, not structures. You are my legacy." Haley folds the letter and holds it to her heart, resolve solidifying. Tomorrow, she will announce the Bill Morty Memorial Fund, a scholarship in his name. In the small chapel at St. Mary's, Dr. Alvarez interrupts her rounds to kneel at a makeshift altar holding Bill's ashes. She whispers he saved countless lives, even when his own was failing. "I'm sorry we couldn't do more." A nurse places a white lily beside the urn. Outside, a gentle breeze rustles the blossom, a subtle reminder that Bill's spirit lingers. 6 weeks later, the Richardson Morty Foundation invites the community to the grand opening of a new pediatric wing at St. Mary's, Bill's final dream. Haley stands at the ribbon-cutting ceremony, baton in hand. Children Bill funded line the entryway, faces alight with excitement. This wing, Haley announces, voice firm, is dedicated to the man who believed every child deserves a chance. Bill's heart lives on through each life saved here. She cuts the ribbon, and applause erupts, tears misting her vision. At the back of the crowd, Danny Dupree takes the stage to perform a tribute song Bill inspired, Light Beyond the Gates. A soulful melody about hope in darkness. She sings under a canopy of white streamers, her voice both mournful and triumphant. As the final note fades, the audience rises in a standing ovation, renewing Bill's legacy through music and unity. In a quiet room behind the hospital, Leslie Thomas listens to the broadcast of the ceremony on a small radio. His prison cell is cold, and the weight of consequences crushes him. The announcer says, "This pediatric wing stands as a beacon to honor Bill Morty's commitment to children's health." Leslie closes his eyes, regret etched in his features, knowing he'll never undo the harm he set in motion. That evening, Haley returns to what was once her shared home with Bill. She runs her hand along the banister of the grand staircase they once paraded down at weekly charity galas. Each room, once brimming with laughter, now feels hollow. She pauses in the living room where their piano stands, a gift from Bill. Tentatively, she presses one key, C sharp. Her notes wavering. Memories flood back, him teaching her chords, them playing together for foundation galas. She exhales, swallowing grief. Tomorrow, she'll launch the Bill Morty Visionaries program, mentorship for at-risk youth. She draws strength from the thought that Bill's spirit lives in every child they help. Late at night, in a darkened corner of Fairmont Crest, Doug McBride sits in a church pew, hands clasped in prayer. Through the stained glass windows, moonlight casts fractured colors across his face. Vanessa's betrayal stings anew. He now knows his own failings led to Bill's downfall. "I'm sorry," he whispers to the empty sanctuary, tears tracked across his cheeks. "I wish I could bring him back." At the Foundation's offices, a donation arrives, an anonymous check large enough to secure the pediatric wing's equipment, stamped honor Bill Morty's memory. Haley finds the envelope and, heart-pounding, realizes Bill's reach touched even those willing to remain unseen. She places the check with care, tears of gratitude falling. In a small apartment above a cafe, Kat Richardson pores over the digital correspondence she discovered months earlier. The emails between her late mother and Leslie Thomas showing how Eleanor diverted funds from the foundation to manipulate Leslie years ago. Her revelation would have shaken the foundation's stability, but Bill's death shifted priorities. Now, she resolves to confide in Haley. "The truth about my mother must not unravel Bill's legacy." She drafts a letter recounting her findings and promises to deliver it privately, ensuring transparency without destroying the foundation's momentum. Back at St. Mary's, the first child's laughter echoes in a bright new treatment room named Bill's Haven. Nurses beam as they wheeled in a young girl with a serious heart condition. Above her bed, a plaque reads, "For William Mortimer Morty, whose heart beat for every child." Haley watches from the doorway, tears gleaming in her eyes. She recalls the night Bill collapsed, the terror, the hope, the loss. Now, in that moment, she feels a flicker of peace. Bill's sacrifice was not in vain. His work echoes in every corner of the hospital, every scholarship awarded, every life saved. As the moon sets and dawn approaches Fairmont Crest, the town awakens to a new era, one marked by loss but buoyed by purpose. Haley, standing at the window of her study, surveys the foundation's building across the street. The sign now bears Bill's name in bronze letters. She sighs, firm resolve replacing sorrow. Tomorrow, she will address the board, unveil Kat's letter in confidence, and lead a vision for the future. Bill's presence, though silent, guides her. The gates to darkness may have opened once, but through love, truth, and unwavering devotion, they will stay open far wider, to hope, healing, and an enduring legacy beyond the gates. Haley wakes before dawn, the house silent without Bill's presence. She moves through each room, his empty armchair, the unlit fireplace, the mantle now holding his awards alone, grief pressing in from every angle. The foundation's responsibility weighs heavily on her. Every program, every check signed, must honor Bill's legacy. Early that morning, Doug McBride surprises Haley with a phone call. "I'm sorry," he stammers. Haley's chest tightens. Doug confesses that Vanessa has vanished. She left rehab and sold all their assets to pay off Joey Armstrong's debts. "She's on her own now," he says. Haley hangs up, heart pounding at the thought that Vanessa, untethered and desperate, might resurface in ways that harm the foundation or herself. In the foundation's offices, Laura Peterson and Haley coordinate urgent donor calls. Trust eroded by Bill's death and Doug's betrayal, major contributors hesitate to renew funding. Laura assures Haley, "If we promise total transparency, monthly financial reports, and an advisory board, some donors will stay." Haley drafts an audit plan and, within days, holds a press conference announcing independent audits, open board meetings, and a published quarterly ledger. Skepticism remains, but a handful of key benefactors pledge continued support. Meanwhile, Doug enters community service at a local shelter. Each meal he hands out feels like a penance for his actions. Vanessa, carrying guilt over Bill's collapse, checks into a women's shelter in another state, distancing herself from Joey and her former life. She finds part-time work at a non-profit legal clinic, attempting to rebuild honestly. The Richardson Morty Foundation holds a small benefit concert in Terra Nova Park to fund the pediatric wing Bill envisioned. Danny Dupree sings Light Beyond the Gates, her voice trembling with emotion as Anita and Sharon Dupree provide harmony. Sharon watches with her daughter Mia, no longer hidden from the truth, while attendees drop checks into a box labeled Bill Morty Memorial Fund. The event raises enough to outfit half of the new wing, keeping Bill's vision alive. Leslie Thomas, newly convicted of money laundering and prior escape attempts, appears in court for sentencing. Haley, Laura, Anita, and Sharon sit in the gallery. The judge imposes 25 years, citing Leslie's destruction of lives. As Leslie is led away, Haley exhales, relief and sorrow mingling. "It's over," she whispers. Laura nods, tears in her eyes. "Now we can move forward." Ted Richardson, released from probation after agreeing to counseling, volunteers at the same shelter where Doug works. He and Haley meet in the foundation's boardroom to finalize the advisory council, bringing together community leaders and former donors. Ted pledges to dedicate himself to transparency, acknowledging his past mistakes. "Bill believed in me," he tells the board. "I'll honor him by serving others." Across town, Kat Richardson discovers emails showing her late mother had diverted foundation funds years ago, triggering a cover-up that Bill helped conceal. Though tempted to publicize the scandal, she meets with Haley privately. "I won't let this destroy what Bill built," Kat assures her, handing over the evidence. Haley thanks her, vowing to address the issue internally once Bill's projects are secure. In the new pediatric wing's grand opening at St. Mary's Hospital, Haley delivers a brief speech. This wing stands as a beacon of hope for children Bill loved fiercely. A brass plaque bearing Bill's name hangs above the entrance. Haley watches a young girl, cured of a congenital heart defect, play with a donated toy, proof that Bill's impact endures beyond his life. That evening, Haley returns home alone, clutching Bill's favorite mug of espresso. She steps into their study, where Bill's urn sits beside his journals and sketches for the Community Arts Center. She opens a notebook and writes, "For Bill, your dreams live on." Her pen pauses on the promise, to finish what he began. Outside, streetlights glow as the town settles into the hush of a summer night, transformed by loss yet bound together by Bill's unwavering belief in compassion. Over the weeks that follow, Haley focuses on the Community Arts Center Bill mapped out. Danny and Andre scout locations, Laura secures grants, Anita designs the inaugural mural, and Sharon mentors Mia as a junior curator. Doug's service at the shelter becomes a regular fixture. He organizes a food drive in Bill's memory. Vanessa, now sober and committed to reform, reaches out to Haley, offering to help at the legal clinic and donating her modest savings. Haley, cautiously optimistic, accepts. Fairmont Crest, once shadowed by scandal and sorrow, gradually awakens to renewed purpose. Each child helped, each program restored, keeps Bill's spirit alive. In the Foundation's conference room, Haley pins a fresh photograph of Bill, smiling with a group of children, above the ledger board. As the board members applaud a new major donor pledge for the Arts Center, Haley feels a quiet resolve. Though Bill's heartbeat has ceased, his vision pulses through every corner of the community, guiding them toward a future built on the values he cherished most.